The news arrived today, June 3, 2025. Jim Marshall is gone. He passed away at 87. A true legend of the Minnesota Vikings has left us. The Vikings franchise confirmed it. The NFL world feels a little emptier now. Marshall was more than just a player, he was a foundational piece of the team. He helped build what the Vikings became. His presence was immense, felt for decades. He defined an era of football in Minnesota. Marshall played from the very beginning. The Vikings' inaugural season in 1961, he was there. He stayed there for 19 incredible seasons. Imagine that. 19 years with one team, loyalty, dedication. He wasn't just a player passing through town. He the Minnesota Vikings for so many fans. He wore the purple and gold with unmatched pride. His number 70 jersey is rightly retired, a symbol of his contribution. He was a captain for an astonishing 14 straight seasons. The Wilf family, owners of the Vikings, said it best. No player in Vikings history lived the ideals of toughness, camaraderie, and passion more than the all-time Iron Man. That hits the nail on the head. Toughness, camaraderie, passion. These were not just words for Jim Marshall. They were how he lived. They were how he played every single down. He earned respect from teammates, from opponents. His leadership was quiet but powerful. His passing at Methodist Hospital in St. Louis Park, Minnesota, followed a prolonged hospitalization. The cause of death was confirmed alongside the news of his passing. It marks the end of a remarkable life, a life lived with vigor, a life dedicated to his team, a life that inspired so many. We mourn his loss today, but we also celebrate the incredible legacy he leaves behind, a legacy etched in Vikings lore forever. He was, simply put, one of a kind. Jim Marshall was the original Iron Man. He played in 282 consecutive games. Think about that for a moment. 282 games, without missing one, from 1961 all the way through 1979. This record stood for 3 long decades. It spoke volumes about his commitment. It showed his incredible durability. Football is a brutal game. Yet Marshall answered the bell every single week. He was always there for his team. He started 270 of those games consecutively with the Vikings. That is the most by any defensive player in NFL history. Only Brett Favre, who later played for the Vikings too, surpassed his overall consecutive games played record. When Favre broke that record in 2009, Marshall was there. He congratulated Favre personally. That showed his class. That showed his respect for the game. His own record was a testament to his sheer will. This wasn't just about showing up, it was about performing at a high level, consistently, for 19 seasons. He was a force on the defensive line, he was a cornerstone. Bud Grant, his legendary coach, knew Marshall's value. Grant called Marshall and Mick Tingelhoff the absolute cornerstones of the team. He said Marshall represented the Vikings better than any player. That's high praise from a coaching giant. Marshall earned every bit of it. His journey to the Vikings was also part of his story. Drafted by the Cleveland Browns in 1960, played 1 year there. Then a trade brought him to Minnesota in 1961. He found his home. He never left. He became synonymous with the Vikings. His dedication was unwavering. His toughness was legendary. His streak was a symbol of everything he stood for: reliability, strength, and an unyielding spirit. He defined what it meant to be a Viking warrior. Jim Marshall was a name feared by offenses. He was a key part of the Purple People Eaters, that famed Minnesota Vikings defensive line, dominant, relentless. Alongside Carl Eller, Gary Larson, and Alan Page, they terrorized quarterbacks, they stuffed the run. Marshall was the elder statesman of that group. He brought experience and ferocity. His presence made everyone around him better. He was the anchor. He played in 4 Super Bowls with the Vikings. Those 1970s teams were powerful, often defined by their defense. Marshall was at the heart of it all. While sacks weren't an official stat for much of his career, retrospective analysis credits him with impressive numbers. Some records show 130.5 career sacks. Others list 127, second in Vikings history. He also tied for the most opponent fumble recoveries in NFL history with 29. He made plays, big plays. Of course, there's the famous wrong way run in 1964. He recovered a fumble. He ran 66 yards. Unfortunately, it was into his own end zone, resulting in a safety. It could have been a moment of deep embarrassment, but Marshall handled it with incredible grace and humor. He often joked about it later. This showed his character. He didn't let a mistake define him. He owned it. He moved on. He continued to play at an elite level. That resilience was a hallmark of his career. He wasn't just physically tough, he was mentally tough. The wrong way run incident could have crushed a lesser player. For Marshall, it became a footnote in a career filled with triumphs. It showed his human side, but more importantly, it showed his ability to bounce back, to laugh at himself, and to keep leading. He was a leader by example, through thick and thin, on every single Sunday. Jim Marshall's toughness wasn't confined to the football field. His life story is one of overcoming immense adversity. He survived not one, but 2 plane crashes. He endured an accidental self-inflicted gunshot wound. He battled encephalitis. He walked away from a serious car wreck, and he fought cancer 3 times. Think about that. The sheer will to keep going, to keep living, to keep fighting. It's almost unbelievable. His persistence was truly remarkable. After his incredible 20-year NFL career, he didn't just fade away, he lived what some called a Renaissance lifestyle. He even spent a year in Russia. He transitioned into financial services. But more importantly, he gave back. He started several foundations. These foundations served homeless women and children. He used his platform. He used his experiences. He wanted to make a difference in people's lives. That speaks volumes about the man he was beyond the helmet and pads. Marshall once said, "Life is like a dream." He expressed that he enjoyed life to its fullest. This philosophy shone through in how he played, in how he faced challenges, in how he lived his post-football life. He embraced every moment, he found joy, he found purpose. His impact on the Vikings franchise is immeasurable. He helped shape its identity. He set a standard for dedication and toughness, a standard that endures. Many believe Jim Marshall belongs in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Campaigns have been made for his induction. His numbers, his longevity, his leadership, they all make a strong case. Regardless of that formal recognition, his legacy is secure. He is a legend in Minnesota. He is respected throughout the NFL community. Jim Marshall was more than an Iron Man. He was a man of incredible strength, character, and enduring spirit. He will be deeply missed.